Hi, welcome back to my study review for the Chapter 8 review guide going along Class 308 at Houston Community College. We just went over the area of different objects here, polygons here, and we learned how they were related and how they comprise of each other and how they're related. And we also, before that, now we're going to be finding the area of a circle, or a sphere actually, because if it's a 3D object, we call it a sphere. We're going to need some key information about circles. Before we found the perimeter of a rectangle by adding all the sides, well, we can also find a perimeter around a circle, and that is called its circumference. We just call it that really cool name. So if the distance around a circle is your circumference. Now, we all know that you can cut. And like if we're going to measure things and measure the angles within a circle, we can go here and we can cut it in half. And when we call that distance when it's cut in half, we call that the symbol, that lowercase d, which is recognized for the diameter. So we cut it in half, and we get the lowercase d, it's your diameter. Well, sometimes we gotta cut that diameter in half, because we can make a piece of pie out of it. Half of the diameter is going to be your lowercase r for radius. So, we also want to know what this little thing here, it's called pi. It's a symbol for pi, and it's also recognized as a specific number, and I'm about to tell you where we get the number 3.14 or 22 over 7 is that if you take a circumference, which is the distance all the way around a circle, and divide it by its diameter, you're going to get this number. And you can use any measurements. You can use inches, you can use yards, it doesn't matter what the unit is of measurement. The circumference divided by the diameter gives us this number always, and of course we know all the information about pi. That is the basic information about pi, and of course to find the circumference, now what do we do now? This is basically solving for equations. As we recognize, you could do d over here, it'll cancel out and move over, and then we've got pi d. So you can find the circumference by multiplying pi, which we know is now this number here. Recognize that the circumference is divided by the diameter of a circle, and we can also find the diameter by, yes, if you're only given like the radius, like half, you can do 2 pi, yes, or pi d. Sorry, with respect to the pi d, or 2 times r times pi. And remember, when I talk about lowercase r, it is the radius. When we talk about diameter, it is the lowercase d, and the uppercase c is recognized as the covert of circumference, the distance around the circle. We know that pi here is represented by this number 3.14, 22 over 7. It doesn't matter the unit of measure. And we get that number by dividing a circumference by a diameter. And of course, if you want to find the circumference specifically, we here move this over to solve for this equation, because we're solving for the circumference. We would multiply, of course, here, cancel that out, and do the same on the other side to even out that equation, and solve for c, pi d. And that is our circles. And now that we know the basics of circles, we're going to start learning to recognize the things that rise up out of circles, whether it be like a cone or a sphere. So we're going to move into that next.